Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to Richard Lynch Gymnasium inside Swampscott High School, where tonight Connor Torello on the varsity team is only 9 points away from breaking 1,000 points in his whole entire season career. And with that, as they face tonight, they'll be hosting Danvers as their score is 9-7. Hopefully we can get a word with Connor Torello after the game. Hopefully he'll break 1,000 here tonight. But other than that, the Big Blue hosts Danvers. Tip-off is right after the national anthem. Don't go anywhere.
Jerome was not only a legendary athlete, coach, and mentor, but also someone who cared for others and gave back to the community. At this time, we would like to ask everyone to stand as we observe a moment of silence in Dick Jerome's honor. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. And to honor America, please remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
And as both teams are at half court, both teams are ready for the tip-off to start off this night. And like I said moments before, Connor Trello is just 9 points away from breaking 1,000 here tonight. And the Big Blue will win it off in the tip-off. Passed over to Tripp, over to O'Neal. O'Neal rushing into the paint. A far pass over to Sparaccio. Sparaccio goes up and it goes in. They're up on the board early. And a pass from Martin over to Ahern, and it's stolen by Tripp, and Torello has the ball. And he brings it up for two. Now he's just 7 points away. A pass from Silas over to Martin. Over to Ahern. Going up for two is Torella. And the Falcons are up on the board, down by two. O'Neal has the ball. Passed over to Gruthius, over to Torello. Back over to Tripp. Tripp goes up for three. Hits off the rim. Gets picked up by Gruthius. And it'll go with the Falcons. His jump ball is called. Pass from Solars over to Aaron. Back over to Solars. Going into the paint, going up for a shot is Tamanso. Then it gets in, it's a tied game as a pass over to Tripp. Tripp with the ball, pass over to Torello. Torello trying to find an open teammate, finds O'Neal. O'Neal going up for the three, and it goes in. It's 7-4, early leading for the Big Blue with 6:16 left in the first. And a pass over to Solarius, over to Ahern. Goes up and it gets blocked by Gruthius, but picked up by Sillers. There's a little miscommunication between the officials. The Falcons have the ball with the pass over to Martin. Martin trying to rush up into the paint, goes out to the corner, over to Ahern. Pass over to Tabela. Back over to Ahern, gets stolen by Torello. Goes up for 2, and he gets fouled. So far, Torello has made 2 points so far in this game, making his lead down to 7 to break 1,000. And he's going to go to the line here for 2. As he misses the first one. And he makes a second one. He has 3 in. He just needs 6 more points to make it in. Pass over to Galbert. Excuse me, over to Calabro. A bounce pass over to Solaris. Going for a 3, makes it in. And it's a 1. And it's actually going to be a 2. It's going to be the Big Blue leading by. Big Blue also leading by 2. O'Neal with the ball. Pass over to Trello. Trello going up for a shot. Hits the rim, gets rebound. Gets rebound by Tabella. Loses the ball. Solaris loses the ball and it's passed over to Gruthius. It's a far pass over to Trello. Goes up for the 2. Gets it in. And a pass from Tabella over to Tamanso. Ball gets loose, picked up by O'Neal. Bounced over to Torello, get blocked. And Scarvazzi gets it in for an easy 3. It's down by 1. Baskin goes up for an easy 2. Bringing it back up to a 3-point lead for the Big Blue. Pass from Calabro over to Manso. Going up for a 3, makes it in. And Solaris makes it a tied game with 4:18 left in the first. O'Neal with the ball. O'Neal rushing into the paint. Goes out, finds strip, passes it over to basket, but it goes off of the Falcons, and the Big Blue will keep the ball. 4:01 left in the first quarter. It's still a tied game. And Esperacho is going to check in for Gruthius. Bascon with the pass over to Torello. Goes up for the 3. Torello rolls off the rim. He gets rebound by Tabella. Pass over to Solaris. Out into the corner, going up for the 3. Goes in, and they take the lead late in the first. 15-12. The Falcons leading by 3. O'Neal with the ball. Pass over to Tripp. Over to Torello. Out into the corner to Bascon. Bascon for the 3. Rolls off the rim, and it's rebound by Tabella. Whistle's blown. The jump ball is called. It'll go with the Big Blue. 3:19 left to go in the first. 15-12. Torello with the ball. Trying to rush his way into the paint. Ball gets loose, and it'll go with the Falcons as it hits off the side of Torello. And a timeout is called. 3:13 left to go in the first quarter. It's 15-12. Falcons lead late in the first, and we'll be right back after the short break. Both teams out of the timeout. Danvers with the ball. Calabro with the ball, trying to find an open teammate. Finds Martin. Goes over to Solars. Back over to Martin. Martin looking for a pass, gets tipped and it goes straight to Sparaccio. Passes it over to Tripp. Tripp rushing up. Hits off the rim and it gets rebound by Calabro. Pass over from Sillers over to Martin. And from DiTomaso back over to Martin. Going up into the paint, both teams fighting for the ball. Gets loose, goes off the leg of O'Neal, gets ripped out of the hands by Bascon. And the Falcons will keep the ball. Bascon's going to check in for Tripp. And it's a pass over from Martin over to Solaris. Gets blocked and the ball gets ripped from O'Neal. Going up for the three, goes it in, and it's a 6-point lead for the Falcons. 2:12 left in the first quarter, 18-12. O'Neal with the ball. Pass to Torello. Torello going up for the three. Goes in, and he's a few points closer to breaking 1,000. DiTomaso with the pass over to Calabro as the ball goes out of bounds, and I believe it will stay with Danvers with 1:51 left to go in the first quarter. Pass over to Martin. And Gruthius picks the ball away, and he gets fouled as he attempts to go up for a layup. And Chase Gruthius will go to the line for his first time here tonight for two. This is the first one. And misses the second one. Gets rebound, an attempted pass, almost gets blocked. And it's going to be a travel. The Big Blue will take the ball the other way. 1:35 to go in the first quarter. It's still 18-15. And a pass from Torello to O'Neal. Back to Torello. Pass to O'Neal. O'Neal going into the paint. Going up for a layup, gets blocked. And fighting for the ball. Ball gets loose. Picked up and is passed over to Aaron. Aaron goes for his shot. And he'll go to the line for two as he gets fouled on the way up. Kevin Aaron will go to the line for his first time here tonight for two. And as an ominous scream from the crowd, as an attempt to distract him doesn't work out, he makes the first one. And he makes the second one. It's a 5-point lead for Danvers. As a pass from O'Neal to Torello, back over to O'Neal to Bascon, back to O'Neal, and a far pass to Gruthius. Over to Bascon, to Torello, and a far pass to O'Neal, picks it up, almost gets it stolen. Back to Torello, going up for the three, Torello rolls off the rim, and it gets over to Ahern. And he gets fouled with 42 seconds to go in the first quarter. Danvers holding a 5-point lead against the Big Blue. Trying to find an open teammate. Finds Finds Guadine. Gruthius with the ball. Pass to Bascon. Bascon rushing up to get an easy layup. Does. And the shot clock is turned off. Passed over to Di Tomaso. Passed over to Di Santos. Passed over to Sillars. Back over to Aarn. Loses the ball, rushing up into the paint, going up for an easy two. Gets blocked and just rebound by Torello. 4 seconds left to go. Torello going up for a three. Hits the net, but doesn't go in. And that's going to do it for the first quarter as Danvers as the Big Blue bring Danvers' lead down to 3. And a second quarter's right on the way. Danvers tries to go for a shot, but gets blocked as Gruthius has the ball. Loses his handling. Trying to find his way into the paint. Has a pass from him over to Sillars. Over to Aarn. Aarn going up for the shot. Pass over to Sillars outside for a three. And gets it in. It's back 23 to 17. 7:23 left to go into the first half. Torello with the ball. And a far pass attempted to get over to Tripp, but it goes off of Danvers. Big Blue will keep the ball. As Gabe checks in for Bascon. And it's a far pass to O'Neal. O'Neal with the pass over to Gruthius into the paint for an easy two. And it's down to a 4-point lead. As a pass over to Sillars. Outside over to Grandine. Gets blocked and is passed over to, gets rebound by Luco. Passed over to Torello. Over to O'Neal. O'Neal for the three. Hits off the backboard and isn't able to get in. Picked up by Sillars. And a bounce pass over to Di Tomaso. Into the paint over to Sillars. As Kyle Solaris goes to the line for two, he misses his first one after a distraction from the big blue crowd. And he makes the second one in. It's back to a 6-point lead. Excuse me, it's a 5-point lead for Danvers. 24-19, 6:10 to go in the first half. O'Neal with the ball. Over to Luco. Back to O'Neal. Over to Tripp. Tripp going up for a three. Hits off the rim, gets his own rebound, gets thrown, falls down, passed over to Gruthius. Over to O'Neal. O'Neal going up for a layup, but is not able to get it in. As an attempted shot goes in, but an attempted shot does not go in. Gets rebound by Bascon. Over to O'Neal. O'Neal going up for the three. Goes in as it hits off the rim, goes up and back down. And it's a 2-point lead for Danvers. As Solaris has the ball. Going up for a three. Hits off the rim, rebound by Tripp. And Sparaccio Torello checks in for Luco and Gruthius. And a pass from Tripp over to O'Neal. Torello with the ball. Pass to O'Neal. Over to the corner, Torello goes up. Hits off the rim, rebound by Sparaccio, pass to O'Neal. O'Neal goes up for two. Gets it in, and it's a tied game once again with 4:36 to go in the first half. Timeout called by Danvers, and we'll be right back after this short break. And as both teams are out of the timeout, 24-24 is the tied game. As a pass over to Calabro. Over to Aarn. Back over to Calabro. Gets stolen by Torello. Torello's going to rush into the paint. Goes up and he gets it in. He just needs one more point. And as most of the whole entire crowd is on their feet. And as he got fouled on the way up, he's at the line. And at this moment, history is made at Swampscott High School once again. Connor Torello is at 1,000 points. And as nearly the whole entire fan section in the gymnasium makes their way down to the court to congratulate Connor Torello on his accomplishment. Excuse me.
Like this. You just slide it off, okay? I get it on. Okay. Slide it on. Yes, Steve. Just don't respond to Steve right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go. Yeah,
And as Torello makes his one shot, he's unable to get it in.
Readjust your tripod as needed. Adjust it or hold? As quick as you can.
It's unable to make the second shot in, gets rebound by Sparaccio. O'Neal has the ball. It's 26-24. Big Blue has taken the lead. Excuse me, has actually retaken the lead. Passed over to Gruth. Excuse me, passed over to Bascon. Over to Tripp. Tripp goes up for a layup. Easy two. And they're up by 4 with 3:50 left to go in the first half.
We got the point though, which is what matters. Okay.
And as they go back and forth, Martin with the ball gets stolen by Tripp.
But you did get the 1,000.
Tripp goes up.
Right? Okay. Start filming.
And he gets fouled on his way up. Gabe Tripp for his first time here, first time tonight, will go to the line for 2. He makes the first one in. And he makes his second one. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And the lead extends to 6 with 3:30 left to go in the first half. As Solaris has the ball. Passed over to Preston. Ball gets loose. And fighting for the ball. The Big Blue will win it. And Bascon will throw it in for the Big Blue. 3:16 to go in the first half, 30-24. And a pass over to Tripp, to Torello. Torello going up for 2. Almost goes in, but it hits the rim. Passed over to Solaris. Solaris going up for 2. Gets it in. And Tripp with the pass over to O'Neal. O'Neal with the pass over to Bascon. Bascon going up for 2. Is unable to get it. Gets rebound by DeSantos. Over to Di Tommaso. And it's going to be a foul called against Danvers. Big Blue will get the ball. As some other people want to disagree, saying it was a reach-in. And a pass from Tripp bounces its way over to O'Neal. O'Neal going up, gets it over to Moscoso. Hits off the rim, back over to O'Neal. O'Neal going for the 3. Goes in! And they extend the lead more. 2:06 to go in the first half. And the pass from Di Tommaso shortens it down once again. Torello with the ball. as whistles blown, Danvers will get the ball with 1:50 left to go in the first half. As the Big Blue are up by 4, Ahern will have the ball. Out into the corner. Pass over to DiTomaso. Over to Calabro. Back over to DiTomaso. DiTomaso going up for 3. And it's a 1-point lead for the Big Blue as O'Neill has the ball. O'Neill passes it over to Tripp. Gets the 2. And it's back to a 3-point game. 1:09 left to go in the first half. DiTomaso goes up, is unable to get it, but passes it. And gets the easy 2. It's back to a 1-point game as O'Neill has the ball. 60 seconds to go in the first half. Goes in for the easy 2. It's back to 5. 47 seconds to go. And a far pass over to Calabro. Over to Torella. Into the paint, gets stolen by Gruthius. Pass over to Torello. Torello going for the 3. Rolls right off the rim. And gets rebounded by DiTomaso. As the ball goes out of bounds. And as what looked like the ball was out of bounds, but the officials say that it was in play. And therefore, Danvers will have the ball with 25 seconds to go in the first half. And a pass over from Solars. A far pass over to Calabro. Back over to Ahern. Into the paint. Torella goes up. And it's going to be a travel against Danvers. The Danvers ref are not believing what the officials have said. 6 seconds to go in the first half. 37-34. Danvers down by 3. And Bascon with the pass over to O'Neill. O'Neill going for a 3. Hits off the rim. And that's going to do it for the first half as Torello makes his 1,000 points. And the Big Blue are going to end the first half with a 3-point lead, 37-34. Don't go anywhere. Second half of basketball action will return. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third quarter of basketball action here tonight at the Richard Lynch Gymnasium. As Connor Torello has made 1,000 points here. As an attempt to pass. Does not get to the designated person, goes out of bounds, and Big Blue will get the ball. A pass from O'Neal to Tripp. Tripp with a handoff to O'Neal. Over to Torello. Torello fakes the three, goes up for pass over to Gruthius for a two, but gets blocked. And a far pass out of the corner to Torello. Ball gets loose up in the air, gets rebound by Tripp. Tripp with the pass over to Gruthius. Bounce pass to Torello. Over to O'Neal. Pass back over to Torello. Back over to O'Neal. O'Neal going up for the three. Gets it in. And it's a 6-point lead for the Big Blue. And a pass over to Torella. And the ball goes off of the Big Blue. Danvers will keep it. 6:41 to go in the third. 40-34 is the score. And a far pass over to Calabro. Over to Ahern in the corner. Into the paint, gets blocked. As Torello tries to steal the ball away from Ahern. He gets fouled, and Kevin Ahern, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name incorrectly, will get the pass for a three. Hits off the rim, and it stays in by Gruthius. Passed over to Torello. Torello with the bounce pass over to Sbraccio. Goes up, and it's an easy two. It's an 8-point lead for the Big Blue as Ahern has the ball. Passed over to Di Tommaso. Over to Martin. Cross all the way over to the Calabro. Back over to Martin. Back over to Di Tommaso, but gets stolen by Torello. Torello with the pass over to O'Neal. O'Neal still with the ball. Passed over to Torello. Torello goes up for the three. Hits off the rim. And it's rebound by Ahern. And a far pass. And a far pass over to Martin gets stolen by Gruthius. Passed over to O'Neal. Keeping it inside play. Passed over to Sbraccio. Rolls right off the rim. And it's rebound by Calabro. Over to Solars. Goes up for a shot. Does not go in. It's a far pass. As whistles blown. And as Tripp will throw it in for the Big Blue, over to O'Neal. Pass to Tripp. Over to Torello. Torello trying to find a way up, goes up for two. Hits off the rim, almost gets his own rebound. Goes up, doesn't get it. Sbraccio goes up, doesn't go in. And it's a far pass over to Earn. And is unable to get in. As the ball will go off of Tripp, and Danvers will keep the ball. 4:36 left to go in the third. The Big Blue is taking the lead up by 8, 42-34. As Calabro with the pass over to Di Tommaso. Goes for a three, does not go in. And a pass from Calabro over to Ahern. As the ball goes off with Swampscott, Danvers will keep the ball. 4:27 to go in the third, still 42-34. Finding an open teammate. Danvers still with the ball. As trying to find an open teammate. Gets stolen by Torello. And as with a foul against Swampscott, Danvers will get the ball back with 4:20 left to go in the third. Ahern with the ball. Pass over to Di Tommaso. Over to Solars. Back over to Solars. The far pass into the paint. Goes off of Swampscott once again, goes out of bounds, and Danvers will keep the ball. Timeout is called. 4:02 left in the third quarter. 42-34. And at this time already, if you have not, make sure you're subscribed to Swampscott Big Blue Athletics so you never miss a live stream. And follow us on Instagram at Swampscott_TV. Both teams out of the timeout. 42-34 is the score. The Big Blue leading by 8 with 4:02 left in the third. And a far pass. As it passed it all around, back into the paint. Going up for the shot is Solars for an easy two. And as the score is down to 6, O'Neal with the ball. Pass to Torello. Over to Bascon. Bascon goes up. And it's back to an 8-point lead with 3:34 left in the third. Ahern with the ball. Passed over to Torello. Over to Solars. Back over to Ahern for a three. Rolls off the rim and picked up by O'Neal. Bascon in the corner from pass from O'Neal. Over to Gruthius. Back over to O'Neal. O'Neal loses his footing but is still able to keep the ball but gets stolen by Solars. An attempted pass over to Ahern. The ball rolls off of the knees. And the Big Blue will get the ball with 3:01 left in the third. Tripp with a pass over to Torello. Whistle's blown. And it's a bounce pass from Torello over to O'Neal. 2:52 left to go in the third. A far pass over to Torello. Back to O'Neal. Over to Bascon. Back to O'Neal. Back to Torello. Torello going up for the three. Gets it in. And it's an 11-point game. 47-36. And as Ahern runs up for an easy two as a pass from O'Neal to Torello. And a pass into the paint over to Tripp. Back out of the paint to Bascon. The ball gets tipped from O'Neal, passed up Over to Torella, misses the net, and gets picked up by O'Neill. Out to the corner to Torello, 3. Hits off the rim, and it's rebound by Ahern. .157 left to go in the third. The Big Blue have made their score into a 11-point lead, 47-38. Actually, it's going to be Actually, I've got the score wrong as it passes over to Ahern. Goes up, rolls right along the rim. Gets picked up by Solars. Pass back over to Ahern. And as Ahern goes to the line for his second time tonight for 2, he misses the first one as the Big Blue are up by 9. Misses the second one, rebounded by Torello. Hand off to Bascon. Over to O'Neill. Passed over to Bascon. Back to O'Neill. Over to Torello. Torello going up for 2. Gets it in. And it's back to a 11-point game. And as Torello tries to steal the ball, he goes out of bounds. Danvers will keep the ball with a second over a minute left to go in the third. And a pass over to Calabro. Back over to Solars. Back to Calabro. Back over to Solars. Over to Di Tommaso. Into the paint. Loses the handling on the ball. Goes out of bounds, and the Big Blue will get it. 46 seconds to go in the third. 49-38 still is the score. And a far pass over to Torello from O'Neill. Back to O'Neill. O'Neill going up for 2. Rolls off the rim. Rebound by Solars. Over to Di Tommaso. Over to Calabro. Goes up for 2. And gets it in. It's a 9-point game. 25 seconds to go in the third. Bascon with the pass over to O'Neill. Over to Domalovic. He's back in. Over to Sparaccio. To Torello. Torello goes up. And rolls right around the rim. Rebound by Martin. Pass over to Di Tommaso. Whistle's blown. 2 seconds left to go in the third. Still a 9-point game. Zach Calabro goes to the line, misses the first one. He's 1 for 2. Excuse me, he's 0 for 1. And that's going to do it for the third quarter as the Big Blue retakes the lead, 49-40. And we'll be right back for fourth quarter. And his fourth quarter is underway as a pass from O'Neal to Torello. And a far three from O'Neal is unable to go in. Ahern gets the rebound. And a pass over to Solars. Solars finds a teammate, goes up into the paint. Ball gets loose. And it'll stay with Danvers. Swampscott starting off the fourth quarter with a 9-point lead against Danvers, 49-40. Danvers still with the ball. And a pass over to Ahern as he goes up into the paint. Gets stolen by Torello. Torello goes up and he gets two. It's back to an 11-point lead for the Big Blue as Solars has the ball. Pass from Ahern over to Solars. Gets stolen by Tripp, loses his footing, and passes it over to Torello. And as Torello gets fouled on his way up, he's going to go to the line for his third time here tonight for two. He misses the first one. And he makes his second one. It's a 12-point lead for the Big Blue. Pass over to Solars from Tommaso. Tommaso going for three. Hits off the rim and goes in. It's back to a 9-point lead. And a pass from Torello over to Gruthius. Gruthius goes up for two. Rosoff gets his own rebound. Pass over to Torello. Bounce pass over to Spraccio. Goes up, gets rebounded by Gruthius and goes in. It's back to an 11-point lead for the Big Blue. As a far pass over to Grandid into the corner from Solars over to Tommaso. Gets the three. Pass from Torello over to Tripp. A far pass over to Gruthius. Gruthius over to Torello. Pass over to O'Neal. Back out over to Torello. Torello over to Gruthius. Back to Torello. Torello goes up, gets the two. And it's a 10-point lead for the Big Blue. 5:58 left to go in the fourth. Solars for the pass over to Tommaso. Back to Solars, going up for the three. Gets rebound by Tripp. Passed over to O'Neal. O'Neal with the pass over to Tripp. Back to O'Neal. Over to Torello. Bounce pass over to Tripp. Misses, but stays in by Spraccio. O'Neal with the ball. Over to Torello. Torello goes up for the three. Isn't able to get it, but gets saved by Gruthius. Far pass over to Torello. And a buzzer beater as he gets it in before the shot clock. And it's back to a 13-point lead for the Big Blue. And an attempted three hits off the rim by Solars. And an attempted pass over to Di Tommaso. Tripp tries to steal it, but goes off of his hands, and Danvers will keep the ball. 4:50 go 4:54 left to go in the fourth. 59-46 is the score. And a pass over to Martin. Martin with a bounce pass into the paint. Over to Calabro. Calabro goes up and gets the 2. And it's back down to an 11-point lead for the Big Blue. 4:34 left to go with a pass from O'Neal to Torello. Torello over to O'Neal for the 3. Bascon gets the rebound. Bascon with the move, trying to get a layup, but rolls right off the rim, and a pass over to Martin. Over to Grandin. Gets the 3. And a timeout is called by Danvers, and we'll be right back after the short break. 4:05 left to go, 59-51. Both teams out of the timeout. 4:05 left to go in the game. It's an 8-point lead for the Big Blue, 59-51. As with a pass from Bascon over to O'Neal, over to Torello. Back over to Bascon, back over to Torello. Torello with a far pass over to O'Neal. Back to Torello. Torello going up for the 3. Rolls right off the rim, rebound by Tripp. And it's a far pass to O'Neal. O'Neal goes up for the layup, gets his own layup, and gets it in. And it's back to a 10-point lead for the Big Blue. And Teddy O'Neal will go to the line for his first time here tonight for 2. It would actually be for 1, but he gets it in. It's back to a 11-point. It's back to an 11-point lead for the Big Blue with 30-35 left to go in the fourth. And a pass over to Solaris, over to the far corner to Calabro. Goes up for the 2 and gets it in. It's back to a 9-point lead for the Big Blue. Torello with the pass over to O'Neal. Loses the handling on the ball, but gets it right back. Pass over to Bascon. Back to O'Neal. O'Neal going for the 3. Hits the rim, but rolls right off. An attempts rebound by Sparaccio. Pass over to Tripp from Torello. Tripp goes up for 2. Hits the rim, but goes in. And a timeout is called by Big Blue, and we'll be right back after this little break. Both teams out of the timeout. Swampscott has an 11-point lead on Danvers with 2:56 left to go in the game. 64-53. And a pass over to Solars from Ahern. Over to Calabro. And a far pass from Martin over to Calabro. Back over to Martin in the corner. Over to Solars. Over to Grado. And a far pass to Martin. Martin goes up for the three. Rolls right off the rim. Rebound by Tripp. Almost loses possession of the ball, but keeps it. And a pass over to Bascon. And a travel is called against the Big Blue. Solars with a far pass. And it goes off the hands. And it goes off the hands of Martin. And the ball will go back with the Big Blue. Trello with a pass over to Bascon. Back over to Trello. Trello rushing down the court. And he gets fouled. And a pass over to O'Neal, over to Tripp. Tripp goes up for the three. Hits off the rim, gets his own rebound. Pass over to Sparaccio. And the ball gets loose, picked up by Martin. Ball gets blocked. And a bounce pass trying to get out. Over to Solaris, goes up for two. And it's back to a 9-point game. A pass from Tripp over to O'Neal. 1:43 left to go in the game. O'Neal going for two, gets it in, and it's back to an 11-point game. The pass over to Martin with 90 seconds left to go in the game. Is not able to get the ball into the net, gets rebound by O'Neal. And a far pass over to Bascon. Bascon goes up for two, but isn't able to get it in. As a far shot from Solars is not able to get towards the net. Whistle's blown as Danvers steps out of bounds, and Big Blue will get the ball. 1:07 left to go in the fourth. A 11-point lead for the Big Blue, 66-55. And a pass from Trello over to Bascon. Bascon goes up, is unable to get the ball in. And the ball gets stolen by Gradine. 60 seconds left to go in the game. And the ball rolls off of the hands of Danvers, and Swampscott will get the ball with 53 seconds to go in the game. And timeout is called by Danvers. And we'll be right back after the short break. Both teams out of their timeouts. 53 seconds to go in the game. Swampscott has an 11-point lead over the Danvers, 66-55. As a pass from Torello over to O'Neill, and a far pass over to Bascon. He's open. And a far pass over to O'Neill. Over to Torello. Torello's just going to run around the court. And it's a far pass over to Tripp. Over to O'Neill, over to Luco to O'Neill, back over to Luco. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Tripp with the ball. Goes up. And he gets, I believe he gets fouled. 19 seconds to go in the game. And Gabe Tripp will go to the line for his second time here tonight for 2. Makes the first one, and it's a 13-point lead. Excuse me, it's actually a 12-point lead. Now it will be a 13-point lead as it's 68-55. And timeout is called by the Big Blue. Both teams out of the timeout. 68-55, a 13-point lead for the Big Blue with 19 seconds to go in the fourth. There's a pass over to Andrews. Over to DeSantos. 10 seconds to go left in the game. Shot clock is turned off. Gets stolen by Tripp. 5 seconds left. And Tripp is just going to hold it there. With that, the Big Blue are going to take a 13-point lead victory here tonight. And hopefully we're going to get a word from Torello. So stick around. I'm with Connor Torello, the man who made history today for Swampscott High School. First of all, what is going through your mind right now?
A lot of emotions, you know. 1,000 points, it's a big milestone. I'm happy to hit it.
All right. Second question. Since you're a sophomore, do you think you're going to double your points next year, or are you going to try and aim for another 1,000?
You know, it'll be close. Scoring points is fun, but I'm more worried about the wins and getting a state championship.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. I'm not going to hold you for so long. Here, you can go celebrate with the family.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it at the Richard Lynch Gymnasium here at Swampscott High School. I'm Josh Harriman, and good night.